The anti-trans boycotts are hopelessly off target. The free market is telling right-wingers something they refuse to hear. Transgender people exist, and they buy stuff. If you want to see how deep this stuff is, and this is what you have to understand, because you might be watching this, and I think the average person watches this stuff and they're like, why is it doesn't make sense when I've been to these stores in other Targets and in other stores like this, there's never anyone buying any of this stuff, right? There's never anyone in those sections, you never see anyone wearing any of this stuff. So the question is, why is it there? And it has much more to do with how these organizations are set up, the diversity, equity, inclusion groups that are in their ESG, and more than whether they have a desire to make a profit, and that is a problem. This is video of Target CEO Brian Cornell explaining that it is his mission now. I thought the mission of a Target CEO would be to sell as much crap as possible so the Target stock price goes up, so the shareholders are happy. You've put out a product, you make some money, you go home. But no, his mission is to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion. Some of the companies that I've worked with, whether it's Target today or in the past working for PepsiCo, you know that common thread was recognizing that diverse and inclusive environments deliver great results. Yeah, and I've always tried to ensure that our leadership team, our organization, reflected the consumer we serve, and when you get that equation right, it's the right thing for society, it's the right thing for the team, it's also the right thing for business and shareholders. So I think we all have an oversized role to play right now to advance diversity and inclusion, to stand next to our Black leaders who need our support, to make sure it's really clear in our industry and our companies we're not going to tolerate racism, and to work to make the right changes both internally and then working as a collective group to make changes in our communities and in our country that are going to have a lasting effect. Guys, he's not going to tolerate racism by hiring people based on race. He's going to literally look at skin color and gender and sexuality and hire people in exact accordance with their demographic. Oh God, it's so terrible. Note, he didn't step down. I would imagine that there's a Black guy out there who's capable of being the Target CEO, and yet you've got this rich white guy, Mr. Cornell. Okay, Cornell's got some cash, but Cornell is going to defeat racism by hiring ex-Black lesbians and Y trans, this and that, the other thing. Again, you know, people goes, and I had him on the show years ago when he was talking about this, that once you let, I don't even know that people were really fully calling it diversity, equity, and inclusion yet, but once you let this woke mind virus into the system, whatever system it's in, it will destroy the system, because then you have people like CEO of companies again, whose only job, his job is to grow Target, to sell product, to make as many people want to buy the most amount of goods possible. They're right, and then that's the beauty of capitalism, because another big box store could open and then they could go, oh, there's Best Buy is selling TVs cheaper than we are, we better lower our prices. Then competition happens, we get more development. Like, that's the beauty of the whole thing. But then when you have this woke mind virus in there and you're caring more about how many Black lesbian greeters you have at the store, you've got a problem, because you are now not doing what your main mission is as a CEO of a company. Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report shares a clip of Target CEO Brian Cornell doubling down on Target's message of pushing diversity and inclusion on their customers and employees.